Afternoon, everybody. This is in relation to Homicide 10 for 2014. On Sunday, March 9th, at approximately 3:20 a.m., an altercation broke outside of the Tibetan Cultural Center located at 40 Titan Road, located within the city of Toronto. Several males attempted to break up a fight, and within the melee, a knife was brandished and 2 men were stabbed. One male was transported to an area hospital where he was treated and has subsequently been released, and the other was transported via an emergency run to St. Michael's Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The victim died from a stab wound to his chest. The suspect in this matter is described as a male who appears Tibetan, 17 to 20 years old, with dark short hair. The deceased male in this homicide is identified as Tenzin Tseten. He's 22 years old and lives in the city of Toronto. Mr. Tseten was an employed young man with tight family ties. As you can well imagine, his family is devastated and is struggling to understand how a New Year's celebration could descend into a murder. At the time that the center was closing, I am aware that there were 30 to 40 people in and around where this fight occurred. We have interviewed but a few of these people. The victim's family and I are asking for the cooperation of the people who have not yet spoken to police but were at that celebration. I'd ask you to contact my team at 416-808-7400. Thank you.
Pauline, so the victim, he was attending this New Year's dance that was going on at the cultural center that night?
That's correct.
And you said several people, several males, I assume, tried to break up the fight?
Yes.
And were they also in attendance at that party?
Everybody who was involved was at the cultural center that evening, I believe.
Including a lone suspect?
Yes.
Was the victim the person who was in the original fight, or was he one of the people trying to break up the fight?
I believe, from what I have information at this time, he is one of the people who is attempting to break up the original fight.
Do we know what the fight was about?
I don't.
Now, I heard from someone that the altercation may have started inside and moved outside. Did it start inside, or did it in fact start outside the building?
Well, I'd like to talk to that person that gave you that information, but my information is no, that the altercation began in the parking lot directly to the east of the cultural center.
So you've interviewed there were about 40 witnesses, you said,
Correct.
and you've interviewed everyone except for a few?
No, I've interviewed a few.
A few, so you're asking the rest of the people to come forward?
That's right. Most of the people, I'm guessing at this point, were unaware of what had happened. There was a large crowd outside. It was fairly cold. They were moving to their cars. I think most people were aware that there was a fight per se. It was fairly large. But what I think is they're not aware that it turned into a stabbing and ultimately a murder. So I'm encouraging those people who certainly were just walking to their cars or left because the police cars were coming in to come and speak to me. I don't know if they have information directly related to the murder, but I certainly know they have information related to what the original fight was about, that sort of thing.
Do we know why people haven't come forward?
I don't know. I can intimate that perhaps that exactly what I said. They're unaware that what they saw as an original, maybe just fisticuffs between a group of young men, actually is now a homicide.
Sorry, I may have missed this, but have police been able to talk to anybody who tried to break the fight up?
We have talked to several people, yes.
Did any of them indicate they knew the suspect, or was this person just a complete stranger to them?
It is a very tight community. It is my theory that although some people in the argument don't particularly know the other people, they are aware of them within the community.
They're recognizable?
Yes, recognizable.
Do we know if that one person stabbed both people?
I don't at this time, no.
Was the victim previously known to police at all?
Not that I can speak to, no.
So the person that you're looking for, what was the description again?
I get male who appears Tibetan, 17 to 20 years old with a dark short hair. I will say that he's probably closer to 17 than he is 20. He's probably a young man. Sorry.
Are you basing that on any photographic evidence or any?
No, I'm basing it on statements and witness accounts There's some generalities there, but I'm leaning towards a younger man. We do have numerous cameras in buildings in the area. The area is an industrial area of the city. Just today, we are gathering that video evidence, and we'll be looking at that over the next couple days.
This person would have undoubtedly driven away because, I mean, you can't really take the subway or anything from that area.
There is actually a fair amount of transit in the area. I'm not convinced that he drove away. I'm convinced that he definitely left, but how he left the area, I'm not aware.
So you know for sure you're looking for one person, but it may be more.
I believe it's one at this point.
Sorry, I know I asked this before, I'm just having trouble understanding the answer. I asked if the victim was previously known to police. He said, no, not that I can speak to.
Exactly.
It either was or wasn't, right?
No.
Has he had contact with police in the past?
That's not something I'm going to speak to at this point, but his contact with police.
Okay, but is there a criminal past? Is there a criminal record or anything of the sort?
Still, again, something I cannot going to speak to, past criminal record.
Do you believe, but he was not a target?
No. In this instance, the victim is a gentleman, I believe, went in to break up a fight between a group of other young men and subsequently was stabbed. Okay, thanks guys, thanks so much.
Thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Detective Sergeant. Great.
Thank you.